defense we make and then share and compare strategies with each other, making the rest of our defenses mostly obsolete, which is why the next 6 layers of our defense are all different, making it impractical to rely on patterns. The gradual incline optimizes the cost of each defense, since the innermost layers don't need to be as tall as the outermost layers, starting off with what we have tested to be the most effective design for its cost. The enemy's leaked plans suggest that they think they'll be able to get multiple withers, which is why we're starting off with a design inspired by actual wither defenses. The next layer isn't set in stone and mainly depends on what spare resources we end up with. Right now it's the sideways version of the previous sand defense, but could be replaced with bubble elevators or even just solid obsidian. Defense 4 is an alternating pattern of obsidian and waterlogged slab. The slabs are especially annoying since they generate water sources that you basically can't get rid of, and you have to constantly switch between tools. Again, even if you find a reliable strategy, you're only 8 blocks deep before you're faced with a new defense. Alternating cobweb and obsidian, where the 2 block gaps here frequently force you to stand up if you're not paying attention. Even if you mine through all of these defenses, you still have to get through the boss fight room, which we'll get to later. Suppose you conclude that mining through 5 layers of pain isn't worth it, and you think you may be able to circumvent it. Your first and clearly dumbest idea would be to mine over and around the defense, but that would require first nerd pulling all the way up the height limit and then digging down 250 blocks of obsidian. Because every player is given the coordinates of the crystal, you'll know exactly where to align yourself, but even then, the event will simply not last long enough for someone to mine that many blocks. Admittedly, such a tall tower would certainly cost more than 2 million blocks of obsidian, which we don't have time to farm or to place. And that's why we won't, because the true defense is only 130 blocks tall and everything else is completely empty, save for one 5x5 tower of obsidian centered at the coordinates of the end crystal to deceive anyone digging straight down, all the way until the very bottom where it stops, to let whoever mined through it look up and see all the time they wasted, inevitably forcing them to rage quit. The tower is mostly security theater, although if you do try digging down anywhere else, your odds of clutching are not the greatest. If you do get down the safe way though, you still have to face 10 layers of bubble elevators, the weakness of which is known by few, but you'd have to act quickly, because you can now be seen by us, the guards, using F3 plus A to X-ray from the boss room. While you're fumbling through your inventory trying to improvise, a guard will actively be pinpointing your exact XC coordinates, which will immediately be sent to a man in the sky requesting an aerial strike. Within a minute, the guard can fly to the given coordinates and effortlessly eliminate anyone mining down, since even if they make progress, we can always mine faster, and they have a couple dozen layers of obsidian to get through, ending with lava to damage you just a bit before you finally fall into the boss room. Well, perhaps you want to mine under the defense instead. This plan is possibly even worse. Our Elder Guardians are positioned low enough to affect the entire lower half of the base, as well as the crystal room. Unless you're carrying a lot of explosives and have an inventory half full of milk, mining below the base will not be viable. But suppose you do get to the bottom, what now? You'll run out of milk too quickly if you try just mining up, and you need 2 stacks of ender pearls and golden apples to survive pearl glitching 30 blocks. And now you're vulnerable to aerial strikes underground, or I guess underground strikes. No, the best way these players have to shortcut straight to our boss room is undeniably using the Squilly glitch. For this and many other reasons, we know they'll be looking for the end portal. So, with that information in mind, okay, we don't necessarily need 3 withers, and the Elder Guardian is optional, but you get the idea. Anyway, assuming a miracle, you get to the surface, but you can't uncycle the dragon, not only because it's a super laggy server, but because of multi-paper, which is going to be infinitely glitchier. Of course, you could always try killing it the old-fashioned way by destroying every end crystal, but if you do that, just make sure not to forget the many more end crystals we've embedded in the obsidian towers. So, while the end certainly isn't great for them, what about the nether? Also trapped. The nether roof will be laced with several tactically spaced portals surrounded by lava. They're not inescapable, but they will compromise the majority of victims. Additionally, those wither farms they wanted to make so badly will be made one step harder, as all nearby fortresses will be conveniently covered in lava. Admittedly, they do have plans to go straight to the crystal through the nether, but because we portal-proofed the crystal itself and built multiple decoy trap portals into the bottom of the base that Greenlight we destroyed, portaling in won't make you any progress, since you'll be about as low down as someone who just started mining in. And even if you destroyed all our trap portals, your new portal would either generate on the roof or inside the boss room. The penultimate defense is based on Team B's battle room from Horizon's last event, but this time with more intimidating light. Up to 7 guards with top PvP gear and elytras will be monitoring all 8 sides of the octahedron in the center, containing the core screw-proof crystal. The outer room is completely laced with glass, so the guards can see every breaking point and not only annihilate anyone who enters, but also fill the hole back in so players can't rely on the same tunnel more than once. But if you do safely get into the room, the only way you can get to the obsidian crystal is by mining faster than the guards. And who do you think has more milk and a better pickaxe? Crucially, I must say that if too many people enter the room at once, your top priority is to reset their mining by any means possible, if simply fighting them off isn't. This is basically the only scenario where they can possibly come out on top, so anticipate it and prepare for it. Of course, while suffering